Just getting comfortable here. Hopefully we can get things going soon. If anybody's out there, feel free to say hi. Let me know where you are joining in from. I'm just checking in on my phone to see if there are any questions that are coming in from my Instagram feed. Let's get this going. Just to let people know on Instagram that it is maybe not. I find it really hard to take pictures in one shot that are good for Instagram. So don't mind me as I do this one last time. Let's add this to it. And we're going to just say, join me live now, just in case anybody forgot. Hi. Yeah. So that is one of the things that, especially with people with highly textured hair, tend to encounter. Myself, I went through that for quite a while. My hair was really short. A lot of people ask me how old is my hair. My hair is 7.5 years old. But before the 7.5 year journey, my hair was extremely short. I could only get it, I think, at the most, it was here, and it was not for lack of trying. What I found is that I needed to get a regimen where I had a lot of moisture, started adding a lot of moisture to my hair. In other words, moisturizing it daily with water as well as a leave-in, as opposed to grease, which is what we used previously. And it wasn't even water and grease, which some people do use now and get a lot of good results, but you do need water. Washing my hair regularly, weekly, really helps. And then moisturizing it right after I washed made a huge difference. And also finger detangling. You're going to probably hear me say that quite often, depending on how many people join and what questions are asked. But finger detangling makes a huge difference. I found that combing my hair daily with a comb really did cause a lot of breakage. By using my fingers, I'm much more gentle with my hair, and I am able to feel where the knots are and where the extra tension is, so that way I can manipulate those areas very gently. And likewise, if you are going to be using a comb, I couldn't stress more if you spritz your hair with water first and then comb, or even if you're finger detangling, spritz your hair with water first. It makes your hair softer, so that way you can manipulate your hair without causing as much breakage. But I think that if you use a regimen that and you're consistent with your regimen, you're going to find that you will retain a lot more hair and that you'll be able to pass whatever plateau you're at now. Just out of curiosity, Vicky, how short is short for you? What do you consider short? I think Vicky's left. Okay, so we will just sit for a little while longer and we'll see. So, as for me, what I'm going to be doing after this live chat, live chat's going to be fairly short. I wasn't planning on making it a super long video, but what I'm going to do afterwards is I'm going to film my next hair tutorial, which will be a 3-strand twist hair tutorial. I know a lot of people on Instagram were asking me about that, so because my hair is in braids right now, it will make it a lot easier. Got people bouncing in and out. Is that Vicky who's still there? So this video was going to be a bit of a chit chat. I was hoping to be able to address some of the questions that people had and that they tend to ask me daily on Instagram, but that might be more beneficial to people in the broader social media community. Yeah, I'm just checking to see if anybody's here. I'll wait about 5 more minutes. If not, I think I'm just going to end the chat because it's kind of hard to chat all by myself. It's getting kind of lonely here. I'm not sure where everybody is. Hi, who just joined? Anybody want to say hi? Nobody? That's okay. I guess I might as well just talk about my latest update to my regimen. Since the start of the year, if you saw my last video, you know that I had a setback at the end of last year. So at the beginning of this year, I've been trying to correct some of the bad habits that I started having. And I've started playing around with a couple of new things in my regimen. Hi, how are you? I'm just talking about some of the things that I've been correcting in my regimen since the beginning of the year. One of the things that I've added is, can everybody hear me? Can you hear me? Maybe that's the problem. Is my microphone on? Okay, sorry. Thanks. One of the things that I've added to my regimen is the use of shea butter. I've never really been a fan of shea butter because it tends to make my hair hard. But I found that if I add oil to my hair first, so if I do the LCO method that I've been doing previously, and I do a liquid, which is usually a water, for me, it's a water and conditioner mix. And then I add my leave-in moisturizer, and then I add my oil, and then I add my shea butter. My hair tends to be less hard. And what I've been finding is that my hair has been easier to detangle, and it's also been clumping a lot more. And in having it being easier to detangle, I found that I've had less breakage. So I think my retention is going to improve considerably, and maybe even more so than I've been experienced over the last 7 years. I've been a natural for 7.5 years. Yes, just see if, and I'm heavy-handed, so I think that also one of the things that I found when I first tried making my own shea butter is I didn't have enough oils to the shea butter, so it was closer to being in its natural state versus if it's nice and whipped with a lot of oils and light. I think that works a lot better. So it's more oily than buttery. I think that when it's more buttery, it tends to harden on our hair, and that's what's causing that hard feeling. So if you try that and see how it works, and then you can always let me know how you find it. I would appreciate that. And the other thing that I've started doing as of last weekend is using rice water. So I had my rice water fermenting for 6 days, which I think could be a little excessive, but I'm not really sure. The first time I tried it, I diluted it with water. So I did 1 part rice water, another 3 parts of regular water, and I mixed it. And then I let that sit on my hair under a steam cap or a heating cap for about an hour before I rinsed it out. If you see my eyes going to the side, it's because I'm trying to see if you're writing anything else. And then my hair was really soft and really moisturized. It felt really nice. And then on Monday, I tried it again, but fully without diluting it. And since then, I've had my hair in braids. But my hair right now is in braids. I was mentioning earlier that I'm going to be filming a 3-strand twist video right after this. Yeah, I found that even at the roots, my hair is a lot smoother. You can see that it's even texture. There's more texture to it. I haven't found that detangling has been any easier by using the rice water, but again, this is only after the second time. Plus, my hair is really highly textured, so I'm not really sure, how much that will help. Oh, right. I've been reading that you might need to clarify after using it for a while, but I'm not really sure. Like, I've not reached that state yet, so I will keep that in mind. Yeah, one of the things I have to find out is if it's a real protein. I know people say that it's a protein, but I know they say that, about aloe vera juice and that sort of thing too. But I don't necessarily think that anything that makes your hard is protein. So I've got to go and research into like what are the actual properties that are hardening our hair. But yeah, I tend to use, and also all proteins aren't necessarily the same. So in my daily leave-in, I tend to use silk peptides, which is smaller protein, and so those actually enter my hair shaft, and I've been using that daily for years. But there are other types of protein where I guess if they're larger and they sit on top of the hair, then they make my hair feel hard as well. So I'm not really sure again where rice water sits or the properties of rice water would fall into that whole protein scale. Hi, thanks for joining. Okay, so you're saying your hair mats badly and the ends knots, and you only use water to hydrate, castor oil to seal. Condition with, okay, so I've found, okay, so do you find that your hair is also dry, like more often than not, especially after washing it with the African black soap? Because I've found that for me, I mean, everybody's hair is different, so I can only go based on, my experiences. But okay, so the African black soap might be too hard for your hair or too harsh. So one of the things that you can try doing is doing a pre-poo with coconut oil and letting the coconut oil sit on your hair first. People tend to use coconut oil as a pre-poo when they're using sulfate shampoos, and that will help protect your hair. I found that finding a sulfate-free shampoo has helped. In my case, I actually use kaolin clay, which is a healing clay to wash my hair or to cleanse my hair. Clay washes are really good, I think. They're very gentle. They're much more gentle than shampoos. They detoxify your scalp and they exfoliate your scalp. And they also detoxify your hair and help to take some of the toxins out of your hair that you may have acquired from hair products. So some of the clays I'm talking about are bentonite clay, rasool clay. I'll write those down. Bentonite clay, rasool clay, and kaolin clay is the one that I like because it's the easiest to work with. But yeah, clay washing can help, or as I said, really gentle shampoo. And then what happens is when you're washing your hair with something that's gentle, you're actually not stripping your hair of the natural oils, which keep your hair soft. And then after that, I would go in with either the lock method, which is liquid, oil, cream, leave-in, or a liquid, cream, and then oil. And you can choose whichever order works for you. And that will help keep the moisture into your hair and lock the moisture that you got from washing into your hair. So that way your hair won't be so hard. And then what results is that the matting should be less and that you won't have as many knots on the ends of your hair. And in terms of hydrating your hair, sometimes we have this idea that we should maybe hydrate our hair or moisturize our hair, after wash day, and then we won't do it again till the next wash day. With highly textured hair, we tend to need a lot more water and moisturization. So I would suggest try moisturizing daily if you haven't, and maybe using a little bit extra oil on the ends of your hair after you moisturize your hair. So that way your ends don't mesh together. I don't know if that makes sense for you. Okay, so onion and ginger. I used to use onion with a bit of ginger. I was doing that at the end of last year. And to tell you the truth, I didn't really notice any difference. So I stopped doing it. It's a lot of work for nothing. It's like for very little, I shouldn't say for nothing, for very little payback for what my hair needed. So right now I'm trying the rice water to see if it makes a difference. the thing that I like about rice water is that I can make the rice water at the beginning of the week, and I've got a whole bunch left that I can use at a later date, as opposed to having to make something every wash. What I try to keep my regimen as simple as possible, because after a while, if you have too many components and you need to do too many things, you're going to stop taking care of your hair. And that's, at least I would. So yeah, I've stopped using the onion. Um, let's see, what else have I tried? So how do I keep my hair from sticking together? One of the things that I do is I don't wear my hair loose. So as you can see, my hair is in braids. I've actually worn my hair this way all week. Normally I wear my hair in 2-strand twists, and I wash my hair in twists first of all. And I try to keep, especially if my hair is in mini twists, I try to keep the mini twists in for 2 washes. So 2 weeks. After the second wash, I detangle and then retwist. As I said, if I wear my hair loose, if I take my hair out now and I were to wear it loose, within an hour, my hair, especially at the ends, are starting to knot, and then I have to cut all of my ends. So keeping my hair bound, I like to call it bound. So either bound in twists or bound in braids is one of the ways that I keep my hair from meshing. So you're going to detangle first and then create the style. So I'm not sure. Do you wear your hair out often? How often do you moisturize? There's a balance between so yeah, maybe try moisturizing your hair daily. That might help, especially if you're finding that your hair is dry, because our hair loves water. Like, despite some of the things that we're told, our hair loves water, and our hair thrives in water. And I don't know if you've ever seen any of the videos or hear people talking about sebum and sebum coverage. One of the things that I have tried and I've done a few times in the summer is just rinsing my hair only with water a few times a week. And that when you do that, you would, just pretend like you're washing your hair, but then take the oils from your hair and just draw it down to the ends of your hair. Eventually, your hair will be covered with the natural oils, and that actually helps your hair to start clumping naturally and to not mat as much. And when my hair is properly covered, I can actually detangle in the shower fairly easily with just water. Hey, how are you doing? Thanks for joining me. Yeah, we've been talking about different ways of moisturizing your hair to prevent matting. Some of the rinses that I've tried, like onion rinse or the rice water, using kaolin clay, which I know you like to do too. Hi, hey everybody. What do I think about mini braids? I will be honest, I'm pretty sure that there is nothing inherently wrong with mini braids. But even these, I've been wearing braids all week. I don't like wearing braids just because they take so long to take out. But, and I like to keep my regimen simple. But, I mean, essentially, if you're using your own hair, there isn't anything wrong with mini braids. I like mini twists, though, because they're a lot faster to put in and a lot faster to take out. Let's see, recap. So I talked about how to moisturize our hair, doing it daily as opposed to randomly. Talked about using kaolin. Somebody asked about, or somebody mentioned that they used the black soap, the African black soap. I personally have found that the black soap is very drying on my hair. I know some people really like it, but it's almost like just using soap, right? Talked about how after this, if all goes well, I will be filming another tutorial on how to 3-strand twist my hair, or how to 3-strand twist your hair. Yes, random moisturization, but you have a lot of beautiful hair. You are the hair unicorn. If you guys have not seen Naturally High's videos or her Instagram profile, please take a look. She is definitely one of the hair people that I aspire to be like. Yes, it's true. I remember showing my mom your hair back in the day. Like, I want my hair like that. But yeah, clay washes are really great for maintaining the moisture in your hair. Right, adding oil. Also, I suggested possibly pre-pooing with oil before using the black soap. That might help. Does your hair feel dry after you use the black soap? Usually when I say if your hair likes something, it usually is soft and or moisturized versus hard and or crispy. Thank you. Let's see. Yeah, we talked about how, for me, keeping the hair regimen really simple makes a big difference. So one of the things that I wasn't a fan of with the rice water, or not the rice water, sorry, with the onion rinses, is that it takes a while to actually create it. Right? It's not a long time, but you gotta wait that 20 minutes for the rice or the onion, sorry, to boil, and then wait for it to cool. Then you gotta use it. And with the rice water, you can just make it. It's sitting there for however long you need to sit there for, and then you can use it. You don't know if your hair feels dry. It's relative. Because I used to think my hair was moisturized until my hair actually became moisturized, and now I know the difference. So as long as your hair doesn't feel very crispy, it's you'll just know. If you just keep feeling your hair and getting to know more about it, you'll get to feel, at least, does it feel drier than 2 days ago? Does it feel drier than a month ago when I thought it felt really good? What does the rice water do for your hair? So the rice water is supposed to help with detangling, with adding shine, making it smoother, with helping grow your hair. I think it's possibly the length retention and all of that, and making it softer. And so far, what I found after the first time I used it, I've only used it twice. So after the first time I used it, my hair was softer. It was really nice, and it was odd because I didn't put anything in my hair for 24 hours. But like after the first hour, maybe after it dried, it actually felt kind of oily. It was unusual, and I also used it on my face, not on purpose, but because I had the shower cap on, the water was dripping onto my face, so I just kind of washed my face with it, and my face kind of felt a little bit oily too from the inside. I don't know, like inside out, I felt like my face was getting oily. But when I touched my face felt just moisturized. So that was with the diluted rice water. And then the second time, I did full strength, and I'd been fermenting it for 6 days. And my hair, I just braided it up. So I did it on Monday, and right away I put my hair in braids because I wanted to do 2-strand twists the next day. But my hair didn't have that same oily feel because I put the moisturizer and everything in, but it does feel soft. And one of the things that I found was that my hair felt softer, and it does feel softer than when I just did the regular deep condition. So that whole deep conditioning exercise that I did the other day didn't give me the same results as I had when I just did the rice water. It smells bad, yes. I was gonna say no, not really. It smelled like rice, old rice and corn. But as somebody else said, it smells like baby puke. Which yes, if you smell baby puke, that's what it smells like. So the way that I do it is I wash my hair. So either with the kaolin clay. The second time I did it, I just did it with shampoo because I was trying to do it really quick. Then you put on the rice water, and I let mine sit for an hour. Most people say 20 to 30 minutes, but I like to do things a little bit extra. And then you can use a conditioner or a deep conditioner to wash it out. And yes, you can add whatever essential oils. I definitely added, was it tangerine and mint? So yeah, definitely you got to add something because you will. It smells bad, but it washes out. So when you wash your hair and you finish your whole routine, you shouldn't smell it. If you do try it, like I'd be interested to know your results. And I know some people were talking about or had concerns about fermenting versus spoilage. So that's one of the things that I'm going to be looking into. So stay tuned either on YouTube or on Instagram. Because I mean, people supposedly eat fermented rice. That was new to me. I didn't know that, but you can ferment rice and eat that. You know, when I told somebody I was making fermented water, they asked if, or rice water, they asked if I was making sake. You can ferment cabbage because that's how you make sauerkraut. There's a whole bunch of things that get fermented, right? And we ingest it. So I don't think that just having it sit there means that you're going to have a lot of bad microbes, but I think that there might be a fine line on how to do it. And I have to go back, but Green Beauty Channel had a video on how to make, what is it called? It's the apple cider vinegar with the mother. And the mother basically is all of that bacteria formation at the bottom of the jar. And that's supposedly what makes the apple cider vinegar really good. So I'm wondering if the same thing occurs when you make fermented rice water. So stay tuned. I'll look into that. So, so is your hair not growing over the whole, like all of your hair not growing or just along your hairline for the postpartum shedding? For me, like what I found that my temples were really thin. I don't know. I think they're starting to come back, but along my hairline got really bad after I had my kids. And it was just a matter of time. Like it takes a long time for that hair to come back. At one point I was trying to use something and do massages on them, but even still, like with daily massages twice a day, I didn't see any sort of regrowth and thickness for about 6 months. And right now I've got sections of my hair. I'm pretty sure that this used to be really short. Some of this is actually catching into my braids now, but I'm starting to get some length, but the thickness, as you can see, is not fully there. And that's mostly, I think, to do with wearing extensions, which is why when people ask, should I wear extensions? I like to say it's your choice, but that is after, let's see, not wearing extensions for God knows over 20 years, right? And then on top of that, having postpartum shedding. So it does take time, and yeah, just be patient. Hi, Rose. Yeah, the Insta timer. It was a good call. So, as for having postpartum shedding, was your hair longer than uh, nose length before you had your babies? Thank you. I'm finding too in the back of my hair that the roots are starting to get thicker. So I've got like this weird cloud of hair that is now about this long along different sections around the edge. And I think that that's where the hair is finally starting to grow in, but I'm not sure after which baby. I've got 4 kids, so my hair is really all different lengths, which is why it tends to look really fuzzy. I did an Instagram photo a few years ago, and I pulled a section of my crown, and it was about here. And I was trying to explain to people that sometimes when you see shorter hairs, it isn't always breakage. Sometimes it actually is growth. And I think sometime late last year, I pulled that section and I realized it was a lot longer. So I would be able to tell basically by the various lengths of my hair which baby I had and which hair is recovering from that section of or that bout of postpartum shedding. Do you use a comb? Or have you actually talked to the doctor possibly about thyroid issues just to rule that out? Because I know that's one of the things that can be wonky after having a baby. Like I know, like if you had longer hair before, then it shouldn't have broken that much. Yeah, definitely. Like stick with the hair or even postnatal vitamins. I haven't been off of mine for like 8 years, and I'm still breastfeeding my last baby. So until she comes off, then yes, I know. Thank God they're outside of the house right now. A little bit of a break, but yeah, for as long as you are in that realm of kids, I would continue with the postnatal vitamins because that will add extra nourishment to your hair as well. Thank you for stopping by. Thanks so much. Have a good evening. Okay, so child textures, clusters. Oh, yeah. Yeah, you know what? I I'm lucky that okay, so my mother never encouraged me to relax my hair. She didn't want me to relax my hair ever. When I was a kid, she used to relax her hair, and then she had an incident where the relaxer stayed too long and her hair broke a lot. It was really damaged, and she had to shave the whole back and all of one side. Like think Salt and Pepper, how they used to wear their hair. That's how she had to cut her hair, and she was devastated. So she said to me, "Never relax my hair." And so I never had any, even though I have family members who have looser textures, because they are biracial and that sort of thing. And or you hear just growing up in the community, about pretty hair, right? I never had that feeling that my hair wasn't good enough. And I always thought it was really neat that my hair could shrink and I can make a small afro, or I could braid it and stretch it and make a bigger afro. My hair was never long, so it was never going to be a huge afro. Um, or any of that. I never had friends from any of the communities ever make fun of my hair, thankfully. And so I grew up with a healthy attitude towards my hair. And I think that that helped a lot. And when I got older and I decided that I wanted to, relieve my mom from this having to press my hair if I needed to go out, and I was starting in the workforce, I relaxed my hair. And that was not the best thing, but I learned from it because in some ways I thought it was easier to take care of relaxed hair, but it's not. And I was never going to the hairdresser that often, so I'd only go once every 6 weeks. And I had an incident where the relaxer was left too long, and it burnt massive sections in my hair. And I decided I was going to be natural. Then after that again, I was like, no, being natural is too hard. I decided I was going to go back to relaxer, and I kept going back and forth until about 7.5 years ago. I decided, you know what, forget it. I am not doing this anymore. I don't live in an area. I live in a predominantly white area right now too. And I would have to drive 45 minutes to my old neighborhood where it was predominantly black to get my hair done. I mean, who wants to do all of that driving and to go and sit there for another 3 hours? So I said, I'm just going to learn how to take care of my own hair. And after that, that's what I did. Bonjour in France and Guten Tag. Lena Welch music. So yeah, let's see. So I think what you are doing for your friend's child and helping to support that love, that self-love for her own hair texture is a wonderful thing because it really does go a long way. So, okay. Yep, the hair vitamins should work. And just continue to be gentle with your hair and your hair should thrive. I think so. Like, just it takes time. It really does take time, especially if you are a slow grower. Yeah, thanks for watching the videos. Okay, so finger detangling does take a long time. I'm not gonna lie. Sometimes I will rush detangled. For me, if I stop to get my hair detangled as much as I would with a comb, every single time I detangled, I would get frustrated and I would never do it. One of the things I aim for, sometimes I will aim for enough detangling to get a twist in my hair. So when I'm wearing chunky twists, my hair may be barely detangled. When I start breaking those twists down from larger twists to medium-sized twists, I will then detangle more. And then by the time I get to mini twists, my hair is pretty detangled. And then from there, I go from mini twist to medium twist to large twist. So it's almost on, I don't know, like a 6 to 8 week cycle of me getting my hair about 90% detangled. And then once a year, I will use a comb and I will use a 3-comb method where I use a wide tooth comb, then a medium tooth comb, and then a finer tooth comb. And the fine tooth comb is not as fine as a rat tail comb, but those combs that have the larger or the medium side and then the smaller side, about that small. And by the time you get down to that, I can get out most of the shed hairs. And I found that for the most part, for not having detangled my hair with a comb for a year, I don't get much more shed hair out of my hair than if I just finger detangled anyway. So I'm pretty sure but the thing is that my hair is nice and smooth. So I think at some point I might actually just give up combing. Hi from Sweden. I don't know how to say hi in Swedish, but I'd love to learn. And I hope Swedish is the language of Sweden. Otherwise I sound really ignorant right now. You know what? It is easy to be natural. And one of the things that I find is that a lot of people try to tell us that because we have highly textured hair, that it's bad, that it's hard, that it's difficult, and they put all these wonderful adjectives on our hair, and we adopt that, right? But nobody ever says that about, let's say, having your face beat, right? You're not going to highlight and contour and have it's so hard to highlight and contour. You stop, you put in the time, you learn how to do it, and you move on, right? But it is a difficult skill. And I find that it's the same thing with our hair, right? If we stop and we learn and we put in the time, we realize that it might be a little bit time consuming, but it's not actually hard. Right? I don't know if that makes sense. Oh, hi. Hey. Hey. Am I saying it right? Hey is hi? Hi. So dryness. I don't know who that is. I'm gonna have to look that person up. In terms of dryness, so our hair tends to get dry very easily. One of the things that I recommend is um, water. Our hair loves water. So don't be afraid of water, right? Unless it's in a chlorinated pool. But in terms of washing your hair, I know sometimes you're like, oh yeah, I just did it yesterday. Like last weekend, for example, washed my hair on Saturday, then wash it again on Monday, just cause. In the summer, sometimes I will, wash it on the weekend, and then 2 or 3 times during the week, I'll just rinse it with water. And I'm telling you, if you can get over that fear of water, sitting under the shower is just wonderful. So our hair will absorb all of that moisture, and then right after you finish showering, and you lightly dry your hair, you can then moisturize and seal. So add your leave-in conditioner or leave-in cream or moisturizer, and then seal it with an oil. And try to do that daily. And if anything, if you still feel that your hair is dry, try and do that twice a day. When I first went natural, I was moisturizing my hair twice a day in winter, once a day in summer, because winters here get cold and very dry. And there's nothing wrong with it. It's like when you go out, especially if you are in a country where you have winter or a country where you have dry season, if you put on chapstick, you're not going to put it on in the morning and say, oh, well, my lips are dry in the evening. I already did it in the morning. You're going to just keep going, right? You just keep giving it that moisture that it needs to not break and crack your lips, right? So I find that you have to have the same attitude about your hair. Just keep moisturizing it. Give it as much water as it needs. And eventually you will find that your hair will start to retain moisture. And one of the things that I talked about earlier was the idea of water rinsing. And I did that exclusively for a month a couple years ago. And I learned a lot about my hair. So with water rinsing, all you're doing is, or they call it water washing, you are going in the shower and you are just massaging your scalp. Green Beauty Green Beauty channel has a video on it, a very good video. And you just massage your hair, and you are then taking your sebum, which is the natural oils from your hair, and working it down the strands of your hair. And you can also start doing that outside of the shower, and I do that sometimes. And eventually your hair gets coated with your own natural oils, and that helps to soften up your hair as well. And what you find is that your hair becomes more elastic. In some cases, depending on how your sebum is, your hair will retain more moisture as well, and it will help your hair to clump, and your hair becomes, or is easier to detangle in the shower, right? But by being in the water, you then start feeling your sebum coating your hair, and I think that helps to protect your hair and to keep it from breaking and drying out. So do those massages, and definitely add the daily moisturization. Yeah, shea butter sucks for me for the most part too. But one of the things that I mentioned earlier is that I found that if I can coat my hair with oil first and then use the shea butter, especially if it's whipped shea butter, the raw shea butter is too hard. And I think what happens is that it ends up hardening on your hair, just like coconut oil. And I think that that's why a lot of people don't like coconut oil, because they live in environments where coconut oil will harden in room temperature. So that's like what, 23 degrees? So if you're in a temperature that's that or cooler, it's hardening on your hair. So your hair ends up feeling dry. I think that happens with the shea butter. But if it's whipped with a lot of oils, but then you coat your hair with oil first, I've been finding that has helped my hair a lot. And I've been using it since the beginning of this year. So I'm going to see how it works out in the summer, because as you can see, I've been leaving grease marks everywhere because of that shea butter. But yeah, that's my workaround right now, and it's been working. Can I mod you? How can I get waves? That I've not actually tried. Like, I mean, I'm starting to get some natural texture here, and that is partly from clay washing over the years. So I wash my hair with kaolin clay, but bentonite clay and rasool clay are very good too. The shea butter has actually been giving me some waves. because I rake it through I almost like shingle my hair when I'm detangling it. The Shea Butter has been helping a lot in terms of detangling my hair. So that helps. But I don't know like what the guys do with their hair and then they put on the do-rag and get the waves. But yeah, I could try looking into that. And just water, actually. Spritzing your hair with water, if you've got a longer texture. Like if I spritz my hair with water now and then just put on a scarf, then you'll see a little bit more texture as well. So do I put anything on my scalp? No. I stopped doing that many years ago because I used to suffer from dry scalp. What I do is when I moisturize, because the stuff's already on my hands as I'm raking it through, I might just, with the excess that's there, I might just rub it on my scalp like that and get it off. But I don't directly put things on my scalp, except for one product, which is supposed to be like almost like a hair growth serum. I don't use it that often. So if I'm going to massage my hair, I will put it on. Not sure if it works, so I'm not going to endorse it, but I will use it just because it's sitting in my cupboard and I want to use it up. But other than that, no, I do not. I definitely don't put oil on my scalp. Is it advisable to have two-strand twists as a protective hairstyles for every 2 weeks without covering up? Yeah, I don't wear wigs, but I do two-strand twists all the time. And actually, I was supposed to two-strand twist my hair earlier this week. That's why I put my hair in braids to stretch it to see if I can get longer twists. But I pretty much only live in two-strand twists. I wash my hair in two-strand twists, then I detangle and then put my hair back in two-strand twists. So I've been wearing two-strand twists for maybe the last 6 years. And that is my protective style. And I don't wear any extended hair at all. Do I brush? Definitely not. Although I did buy a mini boar bristle brush yesterday because everybody's talking about my edges. So I'm going to try and see if I can brush something. I don't know, but I don't like brushes. I do comb my hair, but maybe once a year. Coconut oil is for pre-pooing. Yeah. Yes, coconut oil. My hair does not like coconut oil, so I won't even try to do that. But yeah, it's funny that you say that because growing up, we never used coconut oil here either. But I don't know, maybe it's because I needed to be on the island still. Kapuasu butter is one of my favorite butters, and I will whip it into stuff, but I have not tried it by itself. Yes, Rainforest Chica. I've seen her site. She's got some really interesting butters that I would love to try. But yeah, Kapuasu is one of my favorite. I've tried Tamanu, Maru, I think it's called, and I try a lot of different oils and butters, but especially the Brazilian stuff. They're pretty good. So because we've been on for almost an hour, we'll keep going for about 5 more minutes, and then if you have any other questions, feel free to leave them in the comment section of this video, or if you haven't been following me on Instagram, come on over to Instagram. I leave tips on my Instagram feed pretty much daily, and I do answer my DM on my Instagram feed as well. Or you can check out my blog and you can leave comments there, questions there as well. I don't. I really should, right? I don't wrap my ends at all, and I need a trim. So part of the reason why I wanted to put my hair into mini twists is just to see how my ends were acting or looking. I missed my last trim. I trim on a schedule. So every 3 months I trim my hair, and I missed the last one. I think I'm going to skip doing anything until June because I don't want to cut off too much between now and then. But usually what I do is if I'm at home, I put my hair in a head tie or a hair wrap, and I call it a day. And the hair wraps I find help create retain the moisture. And I find for me that silk is even better than satin in terms of creating, keep retaining the moisture and creating that smooth feel for my hair. And I actually had a hat on before I started this video, and then I took it off for something and I forgot to put it back on. But yeah, my hair would have still been covered. How do I keep my ends from knotting? I am always in twists, right? So, or my hair is always bound. If my hair is loose, that's when it's going to knot. So right now, I braided it about this much of my hair. As you can see, the texture kind of changed over here, twisted, and I just leave it like that. And when I moisturize my hair, I tend to put extra moisture on that section of my hair. So the extra lubrication from the moisturizer and the oils help to keep or help to allow your hair to slide, especially when you're detangling your hair. And whenever I handle my hair, either to take my hair out of a style or to put my hair into a style, I spray my hair first with some water, or in my case, I use water with a bit of conditioner inside. I find that water alone doesn't allow for enough slip. No problem. Any other last questions? Sorry, I keep looking at the question section. That's where my eyes are going to, or the chat section. Okay, so one of the things that we have to remember is that our hair is always growing. The hairstyle itself is not going to grow your hair. The hair products that you put on your hair are not going to grow your hair, right? The hairstyle will help retain the length. So in the case of wearing twists, it helps prevent my hair from knotting. So if my hair doesn't knot, it's not going to break, or I don't have to cut. In that case, my hair will stay longer, right? We'll test it. Okay, so I would try moisturizing your hair a little bit more often, but don't soak it, and then don't wash with the twists. Or you can try just washing one twist and see what happens. I mean, there's going to be some meshing involved, but one of the tips that I learned from Naturally High, who was on the chat a little while ago, was that before you take out your mini twist, you can cover your hair with a mix of coconut oil and conditioner. So 50% coconut oil, 50% conditioner, or half and half. You completely cover your hair and you let it dry. So you're gonna let it dry for a couple of days if you have that time, or overnight. And then by the time you go back to take out the twists, you can use a little bit more conditioner if you need to. They just fall apart. They just come apart so easily, and you don't have to worry about damage. But yeah, she wears her hair in twists as well. And her hair is, I don't know, I think tailbone length. And one of the things that I wanted to mention too before we end, somebody was asking me today about trimming your hair. And a lot of people are really scared to trim their hair. I mean, I used to be one of those people, and part of the reason why I haven't straightened my hair is because I really don't want to deal with the idea of somebody trying to come and take off a good amount of length claiming that it's damaged, especially because, as I explained earlier, my hair is different lengths. I get a lot of frizz in my hair because of growth after I've had postpartum shedding. But trimming your ends is important. Okay? And the reason why is that, for example, I don't know how many of you have ever tried growing out your nails, or you've seen your nails when they grow. Every so often you'll get a chip in your nail. Okay? And it's always one nail. So one nail chips. Okay? And you can either, let's say it only chips part way. You're not going to actually just cut down the middle and leave part of your nail long and part short, right? It doesn't work that way. If you cut off your whole nail, the whole damage, and smooth it out, you don't have to worry about any further breakage. If you ever leave that chip in your nail without cutting, you know what happens? It hitches on something and then it will rip even further, right? You get more damage. Same thing happens to your hair. So if you don't cut that damage as it's happening, it ends up breaking and fraying and it travels up the hair strand. So instead of cutting this much off, let's say the very end off because of the damage, you end up cutting even further and further and further up because you're letting it fray, right? I have a video on my channel where I describe how I trim my hair. It's not actually a full trim, it's more of a dusting. So a dusting is usually when you take off around 1/4 of an inch as opposed to an inch or more. And what I do is I'll just measure the ends like that of my hair, and then I'll cut right at the top of my thumb. And it's the same measurement every time. But if you look, that measurement was only just that much of hair, right? As opposed to any sort of real thickness. And by doing that consistently, I'm taking away any of the damage that might be on my hair without affecting the total length. I hope that makes sense. And also, too, with trimming your hair, as I said, when you have a chip in one nail and you only just cut that nail and you leave the rest long, it looks kind of messy, right? But if you trim everything, you get a nice, even finish. Same thing with your hair. When you have nice, clean ends, you don't have this like frayed yuckiness. It's just nice and blunt, and it looks like you have actually taken time to take care of your hair. Okay. So we have now been on here for an hour. I hope that I've been able to answer some of the questions that you have or that you've had. I'm glad that the nail example worked. Yeah, thank you so much for joining me. I really appreciate it. And yeah, I will hopefully try to do something like this more often. Maybe next time I'll do it on Instagram to help a few other people who have not been able to get onto YouTube. I know for some people getting onto YouTube isn't possible just because of where they live. So I try to make things as accessible to people as much as possible. Also, likewise, I have a blog from a to4z.ca where I don't know if you know people who may or may not benefit from the information that I share in my videos. If they, for whatever reason, can't access the video, as I said, I know some people who, based on where they live, streaming or playing YouTube videos isn't possible because of data or internet services. I try to encompass as much information inside of a blog post to summarize that, and then with the option of watching the video after. So take a look there. And if you haven't been joining me on Instagram, please do, because as I said, I share tips daily and I share my journey with my hair care daily, things that work, things that don't work. Try to keep it real for everybody. Thank you, and thank you for joining. Thanks, everybody. Have a good night. Gute Nacht.